college basketball. And hey, we're actually covering one of those games, but I'm going to work backwards. I am going to start with the late games and then work back to the early games. So I'm actually going to start off with Yale taking on Cal. Now that's an interesting matchup. That's going to be played in Shanghai. So anyway, Yale taking on Cal, 11 o'clock Eastern tip-off in Shanghai. Yale open -3 up to -3.5. Total open 139.5 down to 137 and a hook. 53% are on Cal, 55% shaded toward the under, and at the moment Cal is plus $1.70 for some money line cash. Now this this Yale defense, they're allowing 74 points per contest overall, 76 points per contest on the road. Those numbers and figures dating back to last season, of course. Yale also went 7-12 straight up in their games away from home last year. Meanwhile, on the Cal side, they scored 72 points per contest in their games at home. Once again, this is a neutral site game, but Cal certainly had the ability to put up some points last season. So with all that said and done, I like a little bit of an upset here. Give me Cal +4 after buying the half a point and the over 137.5 in this one. All right, next game of interest, UC Irvine taking on Texas A&M. That's a 9:30 tip-off this evening. Texas A&M -5. Total open 144 down to 142. 70% leaning toward the Aggies. And UC Irvine +190 for some money line cash. Now UCI beat Idaho 86-68 in their opener. Now on the other side, this Texas A&M offense, they're scoring 90. They scored 98 points against Savannah. Texas A&M, nice run in March Madness this past year, 6-2 straight up in their last 8 ball games to close out that season. And total-wise, both teams can certainly score. They have the ability to put up some points. So with all that said and done, I'm going to go ahead and take the chalky play in this one. I like Texas A&M -5 in the over, 142 in this one. All right, next game, Buffalo, West Virginia, 9 o'clock tip-off at West Virginia. The Mountaineers open 10 up to 10.5. Totals 156.5. This West Virginia offense, they scored 80 points per contest last season, 83 points per contest they average on their home court. West Virginia also was extremely competitive with Villanova last season in that full court press defense. Really gave them a run for their money. Played Nova exceptionally good. Nova obviously ended up winning that game, winning the national championship just a few days later. Now, Buffalo, they failed to cover in 6 out of their last 8 road games. So, yeah, Buffalo failed to cover in 6 out of their last 8 road games. Not real good on the road dating back to last year. Now, scoring-wise, West Virginia went 11-8 to the over in their games at home last season. So with all that said and done, I'm going to lean toward West Virginia -10 after buying the half a point in the over, 156.5 in this one. All right, next game, UNC Greensboro taking on LSU, 8 o'clock tip-off at LSU. The Tigers open 10.5 up to 11. Total open 144 down to 143. 66% leaning LSU, 78% shaded toward the over. And at the moment, UNC Greensboro is plus 550 for some money line cash. Now, LSU dropped 94 points in their opening game this year. They're also 5-0 ATS in their last 5 at home, dating back to last season. Meanwhile, on the UNC Greensboro side, they failed to cover in 4 out of their last 6. And total-wise, LSU went 7-1 to the over in their last 8 ball games, dating back to last year. So with all that said and done, give me LSU -11 after buying the half a point in the over, 143 in this one. Next game, Southern Illinois at Kentucky, 7 o'clock tip-off at Kentucky. Kentucky's -16.5, totals 148.5. Kentucky scored 84 points in their last game versus Duke. Obviously, Duke looking like the top contender here in the country, putting up a ton of points with Zion Williamson. But anyway, Kentucky still put up 84 in that defeat to Duke. Kentucky's also 7-2 against the spread in their last 9 at home. Meanwhile, on the other side, Southern Illinois, they failed to cover in 4 out of their last 6 ball games. And, you know, when it comes to the scoring, Kentucky might score 120 in this one. they could put up a ton. So anyway, I'm going to lean toward the chalk. Give me Kentucky laying the points. Kentucky minus 16 after buying the hook, and the over 148.5 in this one. All right, we're going to flip the page and hit our home stretch here. But we do still have some more college basketball. Next game of interest, I'm talking about VMI at Pitt, 7 o'clock tip-off. The Pitt Panthers opened 13, up to 13.5, totals 142.5. Pitt had a nice 16-point victory over Youngstown. They held Youngstown State to just 53 points in that victory just a couple days ago. Total-wise, not expecting a whole lot of points in this one. So a very unorthodox lean here, but I'm going to lean Pittsburgh minus 13 after buying the hook, and the under 142.5 in this one. All right, next and final game for the show. I actually have it on the screen here. Next and final game, college game, is going to be Wichita State at Providence, 6 o'clock tip-off at Providence. Providence opened 4.5 up to 6.5. Total open 139.5 up to 142 and a hook. 66% are leaning toward the Shockers of Wichita State. And at the moment, Wichita State is plus 250 for some money line cash. Now, Wichita, they did lose their opener to Louisiana Tech 71-58. Meanwhile, on the Providence Friars side, they won 77-67 over Siena. And scoring-wise, I really do like a double-digit victory out of Providence in this one, but I like the total to stay low. So with all that said and done, give me Providence minus 6 after buying the half a point, and the under 142.5 in this one. All right, we are going to slide into some NHL action to close out the show today, and I'm actually going to start off with the Devils taking on the Maple Leafs. 7 o'clock puck drop in Toronto. Toronto opened 175 down to 150, total 6. 81% leaning toward Toronto, 61% shaded toward the under. The Devils are plus 135 for some money line cash. And at the moment, Toronto's plus 195 for some puck line cash. Now, Toronto's 4-2 straight up in their last 6. They successfully covered 4 out of their last 6 ball games, taking on the Devils. Meanwhile, on the Devils side of things, they failed to win in 5. Let's try that again. On the other side, the Devils, just 1-4 straight up in their last 5 ball games. They're scoring just 2.6 goals per game on the road this season. Scoring-wise, Toronto 8-1 to the under in their games at home. Give me Toronto minus 150 and the under. 6 goals in this one. Next game, Blue Jackets, Capitals. 7 o'clock puck drop in the nation's capital. Washington opened 150 down to 120. Total 6. 69% leaning toward Washington. 81% shaded toward the over. Columbus is plus $1.05 for some money line cash. Washington is plus 240 for some puck line cash. Washington is 5-1-2 at home. 4 goals a game on average they're scoring at home. Meanwhile, this Columbus defense, they're allowing nearly 4 goals a game away from home. Actually, 3.7 goals per game on average on the road they're giving up. They're also just 4-11 straight up in their last 15 on the road in Washington. Now, scoring-wise, Washington is 5-2-1 to the over in their games on their home ice. Give me the Caps minus 120 and the over. 6 goals in this one. Next game, Rangers, Red Wings, 7:30 Detroit. The Rangers open 105 up to 115, totals 5.5. 72% leaning toward the Rangers, 76% shaded toward the under. Detroit's plus 105 for some money line cash, and at the moment the Rangers are plus 245 for some puck line cash. Now, this New York defense is allowing 4 goals per contest on the road. They're also scoring just 2.8 goals per game away from home. Meanwhile, on the Detroit side of things, they're allowing just 3 goals a game at home. They're 4-1 straight up in their last 5 games. Now, scoring-wise, Detroit's 3-4-1 to the over in their games at home. Give me Detroit plus 105 and the under. 5.5 goals in this one. Next game, Sharks, Blues, 8 o'clock puck drop in St. Louis. The Sharks are minus 120, total 6, 57% leaning toward St. Louis. And at the moment, St. Louis is plus 105 for some money line cash. Now, on the other side, San Jose is plus 245 for some puck line cash. They're also 4-3-2 in their games on the road this season. They're taking on a St. Louis team who's just 1-7 against the spread, 1-7 on the puck line in their last 8 at home, taking on San Jose. And scoring-wise, the Sharks are 10-6 to the over in their games on the road. St. Louis 6-1 to the over in their games on their home ice. So with all that said and done, give me San Jose minus 120 and the over. 6 goals in this one. All right, next game. You know what? It looks like I skipped Colorado and Winnipeg. No, there it is. I got it. All right, next game. Colorado